Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Paul David with Automobile Atlanta. Today we're going to get into some Q&A with Dr. 914. We're going to keep on doing these Q&A sessions as long as the questions keep pouring in. So what we're going to get into today is going to be the Momo Steering Wheel availability. We're going to also discuss storing your vehicle in high humid conditions. We're going to discuss what Porsche classics we restore here. We're also going to get into preparing your vehicle for track day. If you have a 1.7 liter and you want to have a little fun on a track day, what are some of the things you could do to it? We're going to get into that as well. As a matter of fact, at the very end of the video, if you stay till the end, he's going to have, Dr. 914 is going to have a pro tip on how to find your top dead center mark on the wheel fan if it's missing. What to do, he has the answers for you.
Hi everyone, George Hussy, Auto Atlanta, answering your weekly Porsche questions here. And Paul's going to ask me and I'm going to answer, and maybe I'll give some detail too. Paul?
All right, this is pretty exciting. We got questions for the week coming in. All right, so Rick Hessel writes from Facebook, do we still have this one? And what he's referencing is the Momo Champion steering wheel we have listed on our website. George?
You know, that's a great question. With over 275,000 parts, now I think we even have more than that, maybe 575,000 parts on our website. It's hard to keep track of everything, but our parts guys would know. And what is really, really great is with 3 drop ship warehouses aftermarket here, as well as Porsche, all within 12 miles, we can get anything instantly. So if we don't have something, we get it the next day. So if you see it listed on our website, chances are that we can get it or we have it, and we try to give some instant service. Most orders go out the same day or the next day compared to what we have on the shelf.
Okay, next up we have Jonathan Woods. He writes in on Facebook. Are we looking for permanent hires or just help with the backlog? And he's referencing the post about we're looking for mechanics.
Jonathan, we need mechanics so desperately that it's not funny. No kids these days know how to work on cars. That's the problem. Years ago, when I was a youth, we would put points in and set the dwell and adjust the carburetor in all of our cars, and we would repack the wheel bearings and grease the thing. We'd have to do that maintenance, and our dad taught us to keep the cars even running. These days, all the cars are sealed. They're very, very dependable, don't get me wrong, but nobody learns how to work on them. And if they need service, they just take them to the dealer, and they usually don't need much. So that has caused a lack of young men that really want to aspire to be a mechanic. Plus, high schools have discontinued industrial arts, which we used to love because it was a break from heavy science and English and biology and history and all of the other crap that we had to study in high school, to make something or to work on a car and get school credit for it. All of that is gone. Too bad. So what we have left now is we have all of these older guys that own Porsches that desperately want to restore them back to as they remember them when they were young, and they keep dropping them off here. So they drop them off, they drop them off. Currently we have over 50 914s here, plus other Porsches as well, and we do them all, but with only a few mechanics, we can't get the customer his car back in a nice, short amount of time that we would really like to. So yes, we are open to mechanics. We are open to anybody who has a mechanical talent who can turn a wrench, and we will put them immediately to work, short time or long time, whatever they desire.
Fantastic. Okay, next up we have San Strain. He writes in on Facebook, does Auto Atlanta rehab all of the Porsche classics?
Absolutely. If it's a Porsche, we do it. If it's not a Porsche, we don't do it, except for maybe some of my weird quirks sometimes, like my first car was an MGB GT that sort of looked like a 911. Of course, everybody back then wanted a Porsche, but they could never afford them. So I have done a few MGs and maybe my dad's Buick that he bought brand new, but redoing a car is just a general skill. So if you can redo a Porsche, you can redo any other car. But we don't have any time to do any other cars other than Porsche. I own 5 356s that I dearly love, that we have rehabbed every one of them, and we would receive some awards, and I have them tucked away at home. I'm lucky to be able to have storage for 17 cars. And I go home at night and I take the car covers off, and I think back then when we spent all of this time and love restoring these cars from nothing, and now they're just perfect. We can do the same for your car as well. And again, all we need is a few more mechanics. But if it's a Porsche, we do it.
Excellent. Okay, next up we have Kevin. He writes in from Facebook. Where are the big front bumpers on the Hubbard Hidalgo 914 is what he's referencing. So some people are commenting they are not correct for that year. I believe it's a 73 or 74.
Absolutely not correct. And I tried to explain to Clint that those bumper guards, besides being standard equipment on a 74, keep that beautiful chrome bumper from getting hit. I'll never forget the time my 914-6 was inside the building as we used to pull all the cars in at night, and it had a perfect brand new chrome bumper back then when you could get them. And of course, the 914-6 didn't have bumper guards. And some person pushed that car a little bit forward into another one, and it put a tiny little crease in that bumper, and I was just sick about it. Yet, if it had bumper guards, it wouldn't have happened. So the next thing I did is I put bumper guards on the front of my 914-6. Never would happen again. Besides the protection, the front bumper guards make the 914 front end look longer and actually make the car look better, in my opinion. Not necessarily so with the rears that were also standard equipment in 1974, but Clint specifically wanted no bumper guards, and with our brand new stainless steel bumpers, they come without the guards nor the holes on them, so you can either put them on as is, which Clint decided he wanted to do, or drill them and put the bumper guards on there. But I want front bumper guards myself.
All right, next up we have Jack. He writes in from YouTube. What are some good storage tips for the 914 in humid areas?
Dehumidification, absolutely. Heated garage. Don't store a 914 outside. What I do with mine is I have carpet on the floor, I have heat, I have air conditioning, I have 2 dehumidifiers running. I inflate the tires to 50 pounds, and the cars seem to do just fine. Open the windows a little bit so the dehumidification can also get into the interior. Fill the gas tank to the brim with premium fuel and gas stabilizer, and I never, ever, ever have a problem. Humidity is bad, obviously, for 914s. That's why we all think about the California weathered cars and the Arizona weathered cars being pristine years and years on, whereas the humid cars and the salt areas where they put it on the road are the worst cars.
All right, he also has another question here. Can a proper paint job and rust proofing the underside of the 914 do much to prevent the rust, or do these cars rust out from the inside out?
Oh no, the 914s are well known for not rusting, except the battery area, and don't anyone call it the hell hole. I don't want hell and 914 in the same sentence, ever. Don't say that to me. The 914s do have a battery acid problem years ago, but we're all aware of it now. And the 914s were pretty solidly built, unlike Fiats and Z cars and MGs and Triumphs of the time. They're all rusted away by now. At least the 914 is still around with us and really doesn't rust that much. One of the worst things is this so-called rust proofing that the dealers sold to get an extra $100 of profit that drilled a bunch of holes in the poor cars and injected tar, which clogged the drain holes and then accelerated the rust. Crazy idea. The 914, the way it is from the factory, was really, really great and well protected from rust. The chip guard they put up underneath the cars also prevented the rust from accumulating. But again, the cars are 50 years old now, and there's nothing better than proper protection. And when you restore a car, we use zinc chromate primer before we refinish it. We put a little extra bit of coating on the bottom. That Worth SSK product coats the bottom nicely. We fog the color up underneath. We make sure that every bit of the metal is coated, and these days we treat the 914 so well that it's not going to rust again. Plus, we're not driving it in the winter in the salt roads, that's for sure. And remember the dehumidifier.
Very important. Okay, next up we have VFP14 Gabe writes in on YouTube. He's looking to make his 914 1.7 liter into a weekend track car. He knows we advise with sticking with fuel injection, so he's asking what other upgrades should he consider for the track, engine or chassis reinforcements?
Well, to begin with, there are several levels of a so-called track car. If you still want to put your 914 on the road, then it's going to be far from a track car, but you can certainly have a lot of fun driving your car in some of the Porsche Club events or some of the drivers events that other car clubs have. And the way we do that is start with a very, very stock car and take a driver's education course first. And they'll show you how to run the track, how to apex, how to brake, how to heel toe, and the like. And then once you get a little bit more confident and feel great about driving the car, then you can improve it by improve it for the track by adding wider tires. And then the next step would be maybe Bilstein shocks, and then maybe a wider wheel, and then maybe sway bars as you gradually increase your prowess around the track. I particularly like driving a car without much power because you cannot therefore depend on the power to get you out of a problem. If you go into the corner too deeply or not enough, the power will power you out. Well, if you don't have that much power, then you're going to have to depend upon your driving skill. Seems like so many people, they sort of get good with a four-cylinder and then they always want to get a bigger engine. They always want to get a bigger engine. But the most fun is a 914 four-cylinder around the track. If you're going to build a real track car, you'll have to start by taking the 914 completely apart, and then you can start with the basics. And that is, yes, you can weld in a chassis stiffening kit and a bigger engine. And I hate to say it, but for the 914 four-cylinder, the more air you can put into the engine, the better. So finally, to get the maximum power, you'd carburate it. It wouldn't be so good off the line, but it would be great to have dual carbs on the car and then strip out the interior and then you put a roll bar in it, et cetera, et cetera. But that's getting way beyond having fun with your 914 and still being able to drive it on the street.
All right, next up we have Wendy Nolan and her husband Steve Nolan writing in on YouTube. Steve wrote to us recently and mentioned that he was using his wife's YouTube account to ask us questions, but he wanted to just let us know, thank you very much for answering their questions. They wish they lived closer to Atlanta.
Well, isn't that great? Thank you very much. We get so many people that come and visit us to whom we give factory tours, and we're right off of Interstate 75, and many, even Canadians, they come down to, yes, Canadians still come this way, come down to Florida, they stop in to see us along with everyone else. We do have something to show. We'd love to show you around. We invite you to come by and maybe call us in advance a little bit so we are aware that you're going to be there, because we're pretty busy during the day, but we always want to make time for you. And keep the questions coming for sure.
So we just had an additional question sneak in from one of the Facebook groups on Facebook online here. And this is coming from Marcus Eckert. He's saying he cannot find top dead center, or at least the mark anyway, on the fan wheel. It's a 2-liter engine with D-Jetronic. What can he do?
Well, first of all, if you don't have the fan, the correct fan for your car, and all the fans are the same for the 914-4 except the markings, or if you have a brand new fan that's not marked, we have a problem. So, if you look in the Tech Tip 700, there's a clear picture of the fan marked with 0 for the 1.7, 0 for the 2-liter, 7 degrees for the 1.8, and the 27 degrees for both the 1.7 and the 2-liter. Basically, the 27 degree mark that we time at 3,500 RPM after setting the dwell to 50 degrees is the first blade to the right of the big thick reinforcement. And then if you want to approximate where 0 is, you can remove the left rear spark plug and put your finger in the hole and turn the fan until you can see the rotor, the distributor rotor, pointing at about the 1030 position, and you feel compression on your finger. Then you can put a soda straw in the cylinder and keep turning, and the soda straw will get higher and higher and higher until it stops. And with the rotor pointing at 1030, if you look in there, that's where the 0 mark will be in the peephole in the front impeller housing.
And when you referenced the one next to the large support there, and it's one over to the right, which way are you looking from?
We look from rear to front always, and the mark is at the rear. Now I can look in this Tech Tip 700 book right here, and I can, in fact, Road and Track did a review on this book, and they said no 914 owner should be without it. And it's a wealth of knowledge. It is something that I wrote on every single holiday and every single vacation. I never take a vacation, and kept writing and writing because I had no time during regular hours, and I had to be here by myself to think of things with clear thoughts. So I am looking here, and you'd think I would have had it already, but there's a picture of the fan right here with the marks, so you can see exactly where they are.
Excellent. That wraps it up for this week. Any words of wisdom to our fans and audience out there, George?
I would say keep the questions coming. Don't hesitate to call me. I'm always here, even on Saturdays, for the best in tech advice. Well, maybe for a 914, I don't know whether I can give you tech advice in your love life, but at least on the 914 and the 356 and the 911 and some of the others, and I even can give tech advice on 944s and 924s and general mechanical knowledge on all of the newer Porsches. And if I don't know about the newer Porsches, we have young guys working here who do, really do. So keep them coming, and thank you very much.